My child, you have no idea how close you are to seeing what I have promised you. For too long, you've been surrounded by opposition, people who smiled in your face but whispered behind your back, those who pretended to support you while quietly hoping you would fail. They tried to confuse you, distract you, and make you question your worth. But I have been watching. I have seen the secret thoughts of those who plotted against your peace, and I tell you this day, their plans are already unraveling. What they meant for your downfall will become the soil for your growth. The stones they threw will become the foundation of what I am building in your life. Every time you were mocked, every time you were overlooked, every time you were hurt and misunderstood, I collected those tears, not to remind you of pain, but to water the harvest that is now ready to rise. You don't have to lift a finger in retaliation. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone who doubted you. I, the Lord, am your defender. And what I protect, no hand can destroy. What I bless, no curse can stand against. You have walked through seasons where silence felt unbearable, when I seemed far, and your prayers seemed unanswered. You asked, Lord, why are they succeeding while I suffer? You wondered why I allowed you to see betrayal from those you trusted most. But now you will understand. I let you see who they were so that when I lift you, you will not bring their poison with you. You have been hidden, not forgotten. You have been delayed, not denied. I shielded you from the noise because your blessing was being prepared in secret. And when I reveal you, no enemy will be able to interfere. Even now, while they plan and plot, confusion is entering their camp. The very words they used to twist against you will turn back on them. The very traps they set for your downfall will become their own lessons. I am not punishing them for your sake, I am teaching them through their own actions that you are not to be touched, because you are covered by my promise. The pain they caused you was not wasted. Every tear that fell in silence was counted. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every closed door, it all became part of the divine design. I used their cruelty to carve strength into your spirit. I allowed their betrayal to build your discernment. You are no longer who you were when they tried to hurt you. You have become wiser, calmer, stronger, and far more dangerous to the darkness they served. They cannot destroy you because you are not standing on human power. You are standing on a foundation I laid long before they ever knew your name. Child, hear me clearly, your name has been spoken in rooms you haven't entered yet. Opportunities are aligning that no one can block. Favor is being released in places that were once shut tight. And all the while, those who laughed at you will soon watch in silence as I raise you in front of them. But understand this, when I lift you, do not gloat. Do not look back with bitterness. Look back with gratitude. For your enemies were also your teachers, instruments that revealed your endurance, your integrity, and your unshakable faith. They sharpened your spirit. They made you seek me deeper. Without them, you would not have grown this strong. This is not about revenge. It's about revelation. I am revealing who you truly are, not the wounded soul they tried to break, but the unbreakable one I created. You will see the tables turn, not by force, but by grace. So, stand still and watch. The storm that rose against you is losing power. The voices that tried to accuse you are losing influence. The doors that were slammed shut are beginning to open, one by one. This is only the beginning of your reversal. While they plotted in darkness, I planted your blessing in light. While they laughed, I was positioning you. While they tried to delay you, I was preparing you for a level they could never reach. The season of tears is closing. The season of vindication is opening. You will see it with your own eyes, not out of vengeance, but out of divine justice. Because I, the Lord your God, am not mocked. When my children are faithful, no weapon formed against them will prosper. Every tongue that rises in judgment will fall silent. You are about to walk into spaces that once rejected you. You are about to receive news that once seemed impossible. You are about to see the fulfillment of promises that have been waiting for this appointed moment. Do not let bitterness steal your blessing. Release the anger. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because your peace deserves freedom. Your enemy's energy cannot follow you where you're going. They are collapsing under the weight of their own intentions. My child, this is your turning point. You've been faithful in the valley, and now I will lift you to the mountaintop. You've sown kindness even when met with cruelty, and now you will reap joy beyond measure. You will soon understand why I let certain people leave, why certain plans failed, and why certain doors stayed closed. It wasn't rejection, it was protection. And now, protection turns to promotion. I am expanding your territory. I am surrounding you with peace that no enemy can disturb. I am placing you before opportunities that align perfectly with your purpose. What was meant to harm you has become the soil of your destiny. And all the noise, the gossip, the envy, will crumble into silence. You began to realize that not every battle requires your sword. Some victories are born from stillness. Some breakthroughs come when you stop chasing explanations and simply trust that what is meant for you cannot be stolen. There were nights when you questioned your strength, when tears felt endless, and silence felt unbearable. But even in those quiet hours, grace was working in secret. You didn't see it, but roots were growing under the surface. You were being prepared for a rise that no rumor could touch, no plan could prevent. Every lie that was spoken about you became a stepping stone to truth. Every closed door redirected you to one that fit you better. Every delay was a divine pause, giving time for the right pieces to fall into place. You were not being punished, you were being positioned. Now the same people who once doubted you will soon wonder how you kept going. They'll look at your peace and realize that what they tried to break only made you stronger. You will not need to say, "I told you so." Your growth will speak for itself. When you walk with integrity, life itself becomes your defense. No accusation can stand when your actions are rooted in truth. Those who try to twist your story will lose power over it because you no longer carry their energy. You have learned the art of letting go, not in defeat, but in victory. Every enemy loses strength the moment you refuse to hate them. Every dark intention collapses when you choose light over reaction. The most powerful retribution is peace, because peace cannot be touched by envy or fear. You have walked through enough shadows to know the value of sunlight. You've faced enough false friends to know the worth of sincerity. Now you carry discernment as your armor and compassion as your weapon. Soon you will see alignment. Things that didn't make sense before will fit perfectly together. Opportunities that once seemed unreachable will begin to find you. And you will notice that what you once prayed for no longer feels distant, it feels natural. Because you've become ready for it. This is the quiet collapse of the plans formed against you, not an explosion, but a dissolving. One by one, the things that once threatened your peace lose importance. Their words fade. Their presence no longer stings. You've outgrown their reach. The more you heal, the less they can touch you. The higher you rise in awareness, the smaller their noise becomes. You realize now that their plan was never truly about you, it was a reflection of their own pain, their own confusion. And while they stayed stuck in bitterness, you chose growth. That's the real victory. You are now walking in the aftermath of divine rearrangement. What once looked like loss was really liberation. What once felt like rejection was redirection. The people who left, the opportunities that slipped away, the misunderstandings, all of them cleared the space for something far greater than what you thought you wanted. And through it all, one truth remains constant: you were never alone. Even when it felt like heaven was silent, grace was whispering through every event, every closed door, every new beginning. You have become unshakable, not because the path was easy, but because you refused to give up. You refused to let pain harden you. You kept your heart soft, your faith firm, and your hope alive. Now comes the season of quiet rewards. Not loud applause or flashy victories, but peace that lasts, opportunities that align, relationships that feel real, and confidence that cannot be faked. This is the true meaning of asterisk: your enemy's plans will collapse. Asterisk: they collapse not because you fight harder, but because you grow wiser. Not because they are destroyed, but because their power over your emotions is gone. The divine promise is not revenge, it's restoration. It's the assurance that whatever is built on truth will always outlast what's built on deceit. You stand today as proof that goodness, patience, and faith are stronger than any hidden scheme. You don't need to look back anymore. What's behind you has served its purpose. Now, everything in front of you is rising to meet your readiness. Walk forward with calm confidence. You are not who you were when the battle began. You are wiser, lighter, and deeply aligned with purpose. Your faith was tested, and it held. Your peace was challenged, and it endured. Your name was spoken in darkness, but light answered louder. And in the end, it was never about your enemies at all, it was about your awakening. You have now reached the threshold of a new season, and nothing looks the same as it once did. The noise that used to shake you is quiet now. The faces that once haunted you have faded into memory. The weight of what was done to you no longer defines you, it refines you. There was a time when you wondered if justice would ever come, if truth would ever surface. But now you see, the greatest justice is peace. You don't need to see others fall to know that you have risen. You don't need to hear their apologies to know that you are free. The collapse of your enemy's plans is not a spectacle, it is a silent shift in the spirit. It happens quietly, without announcement, without drama. It happens the moment you refuse to carry their energy forward. It happens the moment you forgive, bless, and move on with a steady heart. What they tried to destroy has become indestructible. What they tried to silence has become unstoppable. You have become a living testimony that no darkness can outlast light. The tables turned, but not by force, by growth. You outgrew every space they tried to confine you in. You outshone every shadow they tried to cast over your life. You walked through pain and turned it into wisdom. You walked through betrayal and turned it into compassion. You became what they feared most, a soul they could not control. Now, even the whispers lose their power when they reach your name. You've become too grounded to be shaken by opinions. You've built your peace on something eternal, on faith, on truth, on the knowledge that no one's intention can override what was written for you. And the truth is, they never stood a chance against that. When I said, your enemy's plans will collapse, I meant that everything meant for harm will lose its influence over you. Their words will return empty. Their envy will fade into silence. Their confusion will consume itself. Because where I am sending you, no bitterness can survive. This is the peace of elevation, where noise cannot reach, where old patterns cannot follow, where old wounds are healed completely. You are stepping into a higher vibration of grace. The same heart that once hurt will now heal others. The same hands that once trembled will now build. The same soul that once doubted will now inspire. Do you remember the nights you cried alone, the moments you thought you wouldn't recover? Look at you now. Every tear watered something within you. Every setback carved depth into your spirit. Every loss created room for something truer to enter. That is why your enemy's plans collapsed, because what they didn't understand was that every attempt to break you only built you. They were unknowingly participating in your transformation. They were sharpening your purpose. They were showing you who not to be, what not to carry, and how to rise with integrity when everything tried to pull you down. You have graduated from pain into purpose. Now you walk with quiet authority. You speak with wisdom born from experience. You love without fear, forgive without weakness, and move with intention. You don't chase blessings anymore, you attract them through peace. Doors open for you because you have aligned your energy with truth. People respect you because they feel the calm power of someone who has seen darkness but chosen light. Your presence itself becomes a lesson, your resilience a testimony. This is divine vindication, not loud, not vengeful, but radiant and undeniable. There will come a day when you cross paths again with those who tried to harm you. They will look at you and see the evidence of grace. They will not understand how you kept shining, how you kept rising, how you kept forgiving. But you will smile, not in pride, but in peace, because you'll finally see what all the pain was for. Every scar became a signature of strength. Every disappointment became a doorway. Every delay was divine timing. You will not need to say, "God fixed it." Your life will show it. So walk now in full confidence. The shadows have lifted. The noise has faded. The battle is over. You've won not by fighting, but by becoming untouchable in spirit. You are proof that goodness outlasts cruelty, that love outlasts hatred, that truth outlasts lies. The collapse of their plans was not the end, it was your beginning. Keep your heart soft, your faith strong, and your eyes open. The same grace that carried you here will carry you further. And as you walk into new spaces, new callings, and new blessings, remember this: the victory was never about them losing, it was about you finding yourself. And so it ends where it began. God says, your enemy's plans will collapse after you read this. Not through revenge, but through revelation. Not through power, but through peace. Not by destroying others, but by becoming whole. Because the moment you discovered your strength, every plan against you lost its foundation. And now, my child, walk in freedom. There comes a moment when you stop asking why they did it and start asking what it taught you. That shift is the beginning of freedom. It's the moment when the old stories stop controlling your breath, when the wounds no longer demand explanation. You finally realize that peace doesn't depend on their apology, it depends on your decision to stop carrying the weight. Every plan that was meant to humiliate you begins to crumble when you stop feeding it your attention. Negativity needs reaction to survive. Silence starves it. Grace starves it even faster. When you bless what tried to hurt you, you remove its power completely. The people who once celebrated your pain will have nothing left to say, because peace is the one language they cannot argue with. You will meet them again someday, not to prove them wrong, but to show them what healing looks like. Forgiveness, you learn, is not weakness. It is the quiet refusal to let bitterness rent space in your heart. It doesn't excuse what happened, it ends its influence. When you forgive, you stop reliving the moment and start reclaiming your life. You begin to see that every closed door was divine redirection. You were never being denied, you were being guided. The path had to twist, the friendships had to fall apart, the illusions had to burn, so that truth could stand without disguise. And now, as you walk lighter, the old fears try to return, but they no longer fit. You've grown past the level where they could reach you. The collapse you were promised has already taken place inside you, the collapse of doubt, the collapse of fear, the collapse of needing anyone's approval. You start noticing miracles in ordinary places. A stranger's smile when you need reassurance. An unexpected opportunity that appears just when you stop worrying. A long-lost friend who reaches out with an apology. These small signs remind you that life responds to faith. What you give to the world comes back multiplied. The peace you practice becomes protection around you, the kindness you sow becomes provision before you. Slowly, joy becomes natural again. You laugh without forcing it. You rest without guilt. You pray without desperation. That is how you know the old plans have fallen away, they can no longer reach the calm you've built. From this point forward, your life becomes less about proving anything and more about creating meaning. You use what you learned to lift others, the betrayed, the misunderstood, the ones still walking through fire. When they tell you their stories, you listen without judgment, because you know how it feels to be at war with shadows. You tell them that light wins, but not in one grand moment. It wins through hundreds of small choices to stay kind, to stay honest, to stay open. You remind them that real strength doesn't roar, it breathes. This is how victory multiplies. Each person you encourage becomes another light in the chain. Each act of grace becomes another wall that blocks hatred's return. The same faith that rescued you begins to rescue others through you. And when you look back one last time, you can finally bless the story. Not because it was painless, but because it was purposeful. Every broken piece had meaning. Every disappointment held instruction. Every betrayal exposed a truth that needed to surface. You whisper a simple prayer, thank you for the collapse of what was never meant to stand, and for the strength that rose in its place. Then you walk forward, lighter, wiser, unshakably at peace. The battle is over, the noise is gone, and all that remains is the light within you, proof that you were never defeated.